Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing a quick tool overview. You guys might be wondering, what are we doing today? Well, today we're going to be reviewing a new tool that I bought for the shop to help with constructing AN fittings and AN lines. So today we're going to be using Jegs part number 80586. This is a 24-inch length hose cutter, and it also says cable cutter. So I think you can also use it as a battery cable cutter. But as you guys can see on the ground in front of me, this is the cutter from Jegs. And you simply are going to stick your hose in here, close it, and you cut it. Now the reason why I picked this up was because I actually have to repair the Corvette that's behind me. And if you guys saw that build series, you know that I ran out of fuel pressure on the dyno. Basically I was having an issue with the fuel pump, and so we need to add a couple fittings and readjust some of the fuel lines for the car. So since I may have a lot of hoses to cut, I decided to go ahead and pick this up. I think this was like $25 or $26 on Amazon. I'll have a link in the description below to this tool, and we'll show you how we're going to use it. So in my car, since I'm running ethanol in the car, I really didn't want to use the standard stainless braided hose that's just surrounding rubber. Because if you run that, those hose fittings, not the hose fittings itself, but the hose itself, that rubber hose, has a tendency to deteriorate over time, and you'll start to smell ethanol through the rubber hose. So what we have here is some Frigola PTFE hose, and if you guys can see inside of it, you got the PTFE, the stainless braided part around it, then it's covered in a plastic sheath. Now this is a -8 hose. In the past, I've shown you how to assemble these hose assemblies. I'll try to find a link and put it in the description above to that video. But the one part I kind of always cut the camera off was for the cutting of the actual hose. I was using the old, people are like, use a sharp chisel, you cut right through it. And well, you do, but what happens when you cut through with a chisel, look how smashed it gets. It just completely flattens the end of it. And what tends to happen is on these endpoints where this creases, that little crease, when you put a round screwdriver in here to kind of like expand it, that crease tends to split. And so when that splits, you've just ruined your section of PTFE hose, because that split can go down the hose and your fitting will never seal tightly. So that is the risk of using a chisel. Now, I will say this, I've had this fuel system on the car for 2 years. The only reason we're redoing it is because, like I said earlier, of the dyno issues. But I never have had a actual leak come from the way we've done, cutting it with the chisel. But, so that being said, this is why we picked up this tool, so that we could show you how to cut this line and go from there. All right, guys, so we have acquired a couple tools to help finish this process. We've got the cutters itself. I've got a Phillips head screwdriver that's round, and a pair of scissors. This will come into the last part. So basically what we're going to do is take your hose here, like where we have the silver mark, take your cutters, leave them on the ground. You can also do this on a workbench, but honestly guys, for me it's just easier to do it on the ground. And so put your hose in and sneak the hose up to the point where your mark is. So that'll be about there. And simply just close it. Alright, so that cut it. Now if we let go, this probably went 3/4 of the way through. Alright, so I need to, it's cut the actual outer sheath, but it did not cut all the way through the hose yet. So let's just cut it again, different direction, and that should get us there. All right, so that's like almost all the way there, and our cutters still look good. Let's try using the cutters in a different direction. Okay. So that pretty much got us all the way through. Use a pair of scissors to cut the last of it, and we'll get this done. All right guys, so I used the pair of scissors to just cut through the last little piece. And what we're basically going to do is stick our screwdriver in here and try to get this hose end reopened back up. Now that we've got the hose cut, you know, we're going to cut a little bit off the end of here so that we can get the braided hose kind of exposed. And then by getting the braided hose exposed, we can go ahead and start our cutting. So what I'm doing is I'm just putting it in this little pipe cutter and threading it down a little bit more every couple passes. And we should eventually cut through the outer plastic sheath. We've trimmed through the outer plastic layer. We're just going to use a pair of pliers to pull it off. And as you guys can see, we've already kind of pulled it up a little bit. But basically what we're going to do is use these pliers and try to get this end piece off, because that's where our fitting is going to go. Alright, cool. So now what we're going to need to do is actually push this braid back, put the ferrule in, and then put the fitting on. We should be good to go. I've skipped ahead a little bit, but here is the finished line. We got the 45 on the end, we got the straight piece on this end, and this is ready to go in the car. So I didn't really have much issue getting this stuff back together. Probably the biggest part was I forgot to put the end piece on before I cut the hose on one end, so I had to put some tape, wrap it around all of the loose braided steel, and I was able to then fish the end piece over that. Then you put your ferrule in, and then you tighten everything down. Now I will say this, I did use some more tools in the shop. This little bench vise that I have screwed into my drill press, that ended up working really well. I ended up putting the fitting in the end, and then I just tightened everything down with my AN wrench. And like I've said in the past, if you guys don't have that AN wrench, I'll have that information down below, but also if you've just got a normal like adjustable crescent wrench like that, you guys can just put like 1 or 2 layers of painter's tape around your fitting, and that will help protect it. Now that this project is done, we can put this on the car and go from there. But we're actually going to close this video out here. So I'll have the part number for all the tools that we use to help make this job a little bit easier down in the description below, just to help you guys out. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. If you want to know when I upload new content, hit the bell notification button down below. And as always, if you guys want to help support the channel, click all the links down below. Thanks guys, have a great one.